right, this workout has 4 sections. The first section has a buy-in and a cash out that are the same. You're doing 25 American dumbbell or kettlebell swings, once at the beginning, and then after you complete the 5 rounds of the 4 movements in the center. The rep scheme for those 5 rounds is that you do 5 of each of the goblet squat, reverse fly, floor press, diamond push-up. Then you do 10 of each, then 15 of each, and then you go back down to 10 and then down to 5, finishing the whole round with the last thing, which is the same thing as the buy-in, so a one-time 25 rep American swing. The B section is a couplet, so you have only 2 movements going back and forth. The reverse lunges, you start with 30 reps, and then you do lateral raise for 10 reps. Then you go down to 20 reps of reverse lunge, then 10 lateral raises, then both are 10 reps for the last round. The C section is an EMOM. EMOM stands for every minute on the minute. So you set the timer, and from 0 to 1 minute, you're doing 2 things: 10 no push-up burpees and 10 strict presses. Then in minute 1:01 to 2 minutes, you're doing 10 alternating deadlift high pulls, 10 air squats. Then for the 3rd minute, you go back to the no push-up burpees and the strict press, and the 4th minute, you go to the alternating single arm deadlift high pull and the air squat, and etc. until you complete 12 minutes. If you find that you're completing both of the 2 movements inside of the minute and you have more than 15 seconds of rest, add reps. So maybe you do 11 and 11 or 12 and 12. If you find that as you're getting into like the 6th and 7th minute, you're no longer able to complete with any time to rest, then reduce the reps down from 10 to 9 or 8. But try to push yourself on speed, because the idea here is to work quickly when it comes to the cardio piece. So the strict press, you're not trying to go fast, you're just trying to do it with perfect form. But the other piece, which is the no push-up burpee, you are trying to do that quickly. Both the alternating single arm deadlift high pull and the air squat should be done quickly. The last section, you have 3 rounds of 20 reps of each of Renegade row, alternating limb dead bugs with weight in your hand, and 20 wide arm push-ups. Here in the American swing, you want to focus on getting your hips open as early as possible. The earlier your hips come open and then your arms follow, the better it is for your back. If you try to raise your arms before your hips have finished the opening, it will be a little more stressful for your back. In the goblet squat, you want to focus on making sure you're picking weight that's actually challenging you, and you want to focus on breaking parallel so your hips are at or below your knees, pushing your knees out and keeping your chest up. In the bent over reverse fly, you want to keep your upper body parallel to the ground and make sure that your hands are traveling at shoulder level rather than going back towards your hips. Squeeze the shoulder blades together momentarily at the top. In the floor press, you have 2 options. You can either let your elbows bend down towards your hips, as shown here, or you can make it harder. If the weight you have doesn't feel challenging enough, you can make it harder by turning into this position where your elbows stay in line with your shoulders. This is a more challenging version of floor press. And it's a little bit more pec focused, whereas the other one is more tricep focused, but you would need more weight for that other version to make it feel like work. Diamond push-ups. The number one most important thing is that your chest is right on top of your hands and that you're trying to get as much depth as possible. If you can get more depth, you can get your chest to touch your hands, but only if you're on your knees. It would be better to be on your knees to do this. Focus on not arching your back as you push away from the ground.
And then your cash out.
This is the second version or the second round of the American swing. You're just doing it again as the cash out after you've completed 5 rounds of those other movements that we just went over. In the reverse lunge, focus on 2 90-degree angles to make sure you're stepping back enough to get to 90 degrees. Your knees should either touch the ground or get very close to touching. Make sure that you're using significant weight, so this feels like real strength work. You could use different weights for 30 reps as you would for 20, and then heaviest for 10 reps if you need to. Lateral raise, since this is a muscular movement rather than a power movement, you want to avoid using your legs, no dip and drive, and also not letting the hands come in front
then you're just catching
of the
momentum
hips.
and
That
making
would
it a
give you
power
momentum.
movement instead of a muscular movement.
No push-up burpee is intended to just be
we want to focus on
cardiovascular
using
interval.
this
So
for
make sure you're
cardio.
making it
So
meaningful
move as
by
quickly as
jumping
you
as
can,
high
as
as you
long as
possibly
you don't
can.
have any issues
If
with your
jumping's not
lower
great
back
for you,
on the
you
jump
could
back.
also just make
If
this
you do,
a
don't
no
go
push-up
fast on the
burpee
jump
into a
back, but
squat,
focus more on the
speed, so you're
speed
still
and
getting
height
that
of your
cardio
jump.
stimulus.
In the strict
This is
press, you
strict
want to
press
focus
for the
on
dumbbells.
making sure
Try
that
to
you are
make sure
not
that you're
using your
the
legs, so
heaviest
no knee
possible
bend
weight,
at all,
since this is
so
a
that it's an
purely
upper body
muscular
exclusive
movement. There is
movement.
no momentum.
No
You wanna
arching your back as you
try
press
to
the
milk
weight
it for
over
what
your
it's
head,
worth, which
so
is
ribs
strength
down.
in your shoulders. Avoid
Arms
arching
behind
your
your
back
ears
as
at
you
the
press
top.
the weight up.
In the deadlift
high
high pull,
the
dumbbell
should
touches
touch
the ground with a neutral
and
spine,
again, this is a hip-driven
and hips
power
open
movement, so you wanna
before
try
elbow
to focus
starts
on the
to
hips
drive
opening
up.
as quickly as possible.
Try to make
and
sure that the
arm
elbow is
following.
really lifting above your ear
The elbow
at the
should
top
be
of each
way
of those
above your ear at the
pulls.
top. And notice that the heels are lifting because of how quickly my hips are opening.
Air squat, since you're
In the air
used to
squat, since you
squatting
guys are
with weight,
accustomed
this
to
is an
using heavy
opportunity to
weight
focus on
usually in a
how
squat,
fast you
wanna
can get
focus
out of
on
the bottom.
speed
Really
anytime
push
you
your
are
hips
weightless.
forward rather than just thinking about extending your legs. In the Renegade row, as much as possible, don't let your hips move from side to side. So adjust your foot position to go wider if you notice that your hips are moving too much. In the alternating limb dead bug, you want to have weight in both hands and opposite limbs are going down towards the ground, making sure the lower back does not lift off the ground. Wide arm push-up. Your arms should be more than double the width of your shoulders, and you're trying to get your nose to touch the ground. You can do this on your knees if it feels too severe or you lose your range of motion.